What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the Acura Audio Garage. Today we have a video that I know a lot of you have been waiting for. It's how to replace the radio in your navigation or ELS equipped Acura MDX. This is going to apply directly to Acuras from 07 to 09. So in the 07 to 09 MDX, you have a DVD based navigation system that's located in the trunk. 2010 to 13, the system's all in one inside the dash. So we'll cover both, but this is directly for 07 to 09 MDX with navigation. The final product. So 10.1 inch screen that mirrors onto here. Steering wheel controls work. This I bring up to 25. Normally, the issue you have is you can't get to full volume. Our new amp integration fixes that. It gives you a nice little volume knob. So right here we have our volume knob. And you can hear that system get nice and loud. If I want my navigation map, remember I can't interact with my navigation, but I can get the map. Hit my switch. Right now it's loading, but the map will come on. Now I'm back to here. Hit this. This has a couple of little extra features. So we have a DVR camera. The camera is right behind the mirror. Shows up right here. It mirrors there. If I want to see behind me, this has a new backup camera. I throw it in reverse. You can see a nice HD backup camera that shows here and up there. Okay, first things first, you want to make sure you have your radio codes or your navigation code. Just in case something goes wrong, you need to put everything back. You have something to put back too. Now, something I just want to show you real quick is that this system is fully working. This OEM system is fully functional. My navigation screen works, my navigation control works. If I go to menu, it all works. If I wanted to keep my system working, I could transfer this control knob from this radio over to my new dash kit. If I transfer this control knob and plug it in, I can still control my navigation. This is only true in 07 to 09, where the navigation brain is below this seat. In 2010 and up to 2013, this is an all-in-one unit. So once you disconnect this, that screen no longer becomes functional. But in your older 07 to 09, as long as you transfer this, the actual navigation will continue to work if you wanted to. If you want to keep your rear entertainment, this car has rear entertainment. It is very difficult. The rear entertainment system is CAN bus controlled, so all the commands when you do rear source, DVD, rear control on and off are all CAN bus commands sent from the radio to this screen. Also, any video is converted from, I think it's NTSC video to PAL video or vice versa. I have to look at my notes. But that video conversion adds an audio delay. So it's really cumbersome to try to retain this. If you see other videos, it may look like they retain this, but they didn't. They just replaced the rear entertainment. So keep that in mind. You can replace the radio. I'm going to show you the cool trick we have in store for this, but the rear entertainment you're not going to keep. In our replacement, we're going to keep all of our factory speakers. I'll show you how we're going to do that. We're going to retain this screen, not for the navigation system, but to display the screen that is here, up here as well. And that we're going to leave controlled with a switch so we can turn it on and off when we want. Our main radio is going to go here, and then our volume knob and our switches are going to be down here. I'm going to show you everything. This isn't a DIY per se. I will cover some of the disassembly, but I just want you to get an idea that this is possible. We have the parts now. It's been, I think, going on 3 years since we did the MDX video. So if you're looking for your MDX upgrade, if you're looking to upgrade your MDX, you're going to make sure you subscribe. We have our MDX that we're starting our DIY Pro Series on, and then this MDX to just show you how to replace the radio, because this video has been requested so many times. Alright, so to replace the radio, you're obviously going to need a radio. Here we have the Eonon. The reason why the customer wanted this radio is two very specific reasons. One, he wanted an Android based unit, so this can run YouTube right off of it. You don't need anything else. Two, he wanted something that had a video output at all times. The video output of that we're going to display on the factory screen. This way we have, he can see the radio down here, but if he's driving, he can view it a little higher and it's going to require a radio that has video out always. Your standard double DIN radios only have video out when you're playing something. So this, whatever you see on this screen, will come out of the video out. We also have a dash cam and a backup cam we're going to be doing. Here's the wiring from the radio. This is our wiring. So if you're looking for this kit, you have an MDX with navigation 07 to 09. We're the only people that are going to have it. You can put it together yourself, but you're going to need to find these connectors and pin them. We're the only people that sell them. These two you can find online. This you're not going to find online. This you're not going to find anywhere else but here with us. So here are the parts you need. We cover the wiring harnesses, your steering wheel control adapter if you want to keep your steering wheel controls. On this radio, since it's Android based, I don't think we'll need this, but if you're doing a traditional double DIN, you will need this. Then of course we have our actual dash kit, so we're going to make some holes on this front face to hold some of the stuff we need. And then here you go, it's a 7-inch opening. And here's the most important part. The factory amplifier and the factory radio talk to each other in a CAN bus system or a digital communication system. So the radio's here, your factory amplifier is right up in here, so behind this cover. They talk to each other in a CAN bus. What ends up happening is you replace the radio, there's no more CAN bus communication, you have low audio. So in the past, we recommended that you bypass the amplifier because you can't control it. Well, now you can control the amplifier. So our little interface here gives you an actual volume dial that this will control the factory amplifier. So this combination with this little box controls the factory amplifier, and you're able to keep all the speakers and control the volume of those speakers with the aftermarket radio and our interface. The way this is designed to be used is for you to use this as the volume control and leave your radio at a fixed volume. The way the factory components work is the radio puts out 1 volt at all times. That 1 volt is sent to the factory amplifier. The factory amplifier digitally controls the volume. So the actual source input volume never changes. It's always at 1 volt. And that's where you want to keep your radio. So depending on the radio, it's probably going to be right around 15 or 20. So that's going to be your max volume on your radio. You want to stay, you can go below 20, but you don't want to go above 20. If you want your system to be louder, that's where you use this knob and you raise the volume or lower the volume how you want. I'll show you a demonstration obviously when it's done, but these are the parts you're going to need. This is the big part you're going to need. We have this available. It should be shipping at the end of September, and you can install your radio and your navigation or tech package Acura. If you have a 2010 or up Acura MDX, what changes, everything stays the same, these harnesses are different. We have these harnesses as well. We have the complete kit that you see here with this all wired, ready to go, plug and play. It's on our website. So all this stuff I just talked to you about, you can find on our website, except for these radios. We don't sell Android-based radios. Find them to be laggy. I've heard good things about this brand. This is Eonon, I believe. So we'll see. I'll let you know my thoughts at the end. But if you want to do a traditional double DIN, we got you covered. We even sell them. We have Pioneer, Alpine, Kenwood, etc. But I'm going to get started with the disassembly of this car. It's real simple. We pop this panel off. There's a screw right here. Then we pop this panel off, pop this panel off, then this panel down here, then there's 4 screws, and our radio is out. We start here, like I said, we pop this panel out towards you, then we have 1 screw right here. Take this little screw out, put it in our metal bin, then we're going to start popping this panel. To pop this panel, you obviously want to start at the edge, and then you want to keep moving inward. The last thing you want to do is pull here the entire time. You're going to break it. You want to keep moving inward and popping closest to where the clips are so that you don't damage this panel, and it's going to come out just like that. And then on the other side we have the other panel. For this, I recommend starting on the edge with your finger. It's real hard here, especially if you have like thicker fingers like me, but sometimes that's the better way to start. Or you can take your trim panel tool and just kind of jam it in there. But with your fingers, I find it's the best because you can put the proper amount of leverage. So now that's out. There's one more right here. It's kind of hard to see on camera. but it's just 2 clips that support the radio on the bottom. That's out. Now we have 4 8mm, so I'm just gonna grab my gun and take those out. So if you have a magnetic bit, this is really a good use for it. I think I bought these from Harbor Freight or Amazon, but it just makes it so much easier, because when you put your socket in there to take it out, right at this point it can easily fall, so your magnetic bit just takes care of it and it doesn't fall. You could just do it with a standard screwdriver or a standard bit, but the magnetic bit just makes it so much easier and worry-free. All those are out. Now to get our radio out, we just have to pull it towards us. You want to be careful. There's these 2 little lineup tabs here. So look, there it is. They line up with these holes. Now I have to pull the radio actually out. Alright, so now I'm going to pull my radio out. In order to do that, I'm just going to lift forward and towards me. Then I have a couple connectors here at the top. I have one. Then I have another one here. Here are all my radio connections. So they all have tabs at the top that you're going to press down on and pull back. So I have my green connector. I have my GPS antenna. Actually, no, I'm sorry, that's my XM antenna. Power, ground, aux, XM, and then my regular antenna. So just like that, we have one more, actually, the actual joystick controller. So just like that, here are all the connections, all the ones I unplugged here, here, up here, and then the one down there. Now we're going to need to disassemble this, just the top piece, so that we can carry over our climate control. If you're going to attempt what we are going to do and use that secondary screen to mirror your primary screen, or you want to show something else on that screen, your navigation drive and your MDX is right here. So this is it right there, that bunch of wiring. And if yours isn't working, it's most likely gotten wet, and you're gonna have to replace it. But the connectors we need are going to be this far left connector. This brown wire is the backup wire. So that brown wire we're going to need to intercept. And then we have the camera wire, which is right here. So this is our camera input. This is where we're going to be sending our video. In order for you to use the factory display as a secondary display, your navigation needs to work. What we're going to do is we're going to trick the navigation system into believing that the car is in reverse. We're going to give it 12 volts. It's going to assume the car is going in reverse. It's going to show the reverse camera on the screen. We're going to intercept the reverse camera image, send our own image, and take the camera image and send it to our radio instead. So we're tricking the navigation system. Because of that, the navigation system needs to be working. If it doesn't work, if it says please check disk, or if your camera doesn't come up now, it's this hack or this method that we're using to mirror the screen isn't going to work. You can still do it. I think NavTV or Navix sells a piece that will allow you to intercept the video. It's just going to feed it RGBS video instead. And this, the way we're doing it, the harness I think is going to cost like $19.99. That piece is about $200. So if your navigation system doesn't work, I wouldn't attempt this because it's more trouble than it's worth. But if it does work, I'll show you kind of what you can do to trick it so that you can feed it video. And then I'm going to cover the rest of the installation. Not as in much detail as you probably would like. We're going to save the really detailed video for the DIY Pro Series. This is just a summarized video and an announcement that, hey, this is possible now. We figured it out. We have the parts available. You can do it as well. Alright guys, so I'm getting ready to determine what I'm going to do with our backup camera. So this car actually has an aftermarket backup camera. I'll show it to you. It looks terrible. So they just broke the factory backup camera and said, hey, we're going to mount a new one with glue and some tape. Customer said to leave this, so we're going to leave it. This is the camera we want to remove. It is adjustable. It's in front of the license plate, should be behind. You can see the wires kind of pinched there. Not the biggest deal, but this is right here. So a lot of people wondering why backup cameras take so long or why they would be so expensive, because you have to properly route the wire. this wire is fully exposed. It's probably gonna get pinched at some point. It's just terrible. This wire should come down this way, into this, below here, into here, come down, and then to the back of the car. So we're gonna fix that. We're gonna remove this camera. The customer brought the Eonon cameras, so those are the ones we're gonna use. We're just debating whether we should put the camera here on a bracket or here so it looks OEM. The only thing, it's not adjustable if you do it that way, so I think we're gonna put it on the license plate bracket. If you want to upgrade your factory backup camera, you can. They took the factory backup camera pigtail, spliced it up, and installed that new camera you see up there. You don't need to do that. We have the harnesses that will plug into here and give you a new camera. The only thing is, the factory backup camera has different views. So if you're in reverse mode and you scroll the knob and you scroll this knob as you're in reverse, the camera will change views. And on your newer MDX, will even change the lines that appear. So you'll lose that functionality when you upgrade the camera and that multi-view. You will get a better camera, but know that you will lose that functionality. So if you're thinking about that, you can upgrade that camera, or if you want, you can just leave it alone and use one of our cameras that installs in the license plate light. So our cameras install right here on this light. For this install, the customer brought his own camera, so we're using the license plate bracket light instead. So I completed the wiring. I'm going to show it to you real quick. These are the connections you need for the car. So these are the speakers, all the RCAs for every speaker, your RS485 lines, your factory amp turn on, and also your steering wheel control. So this is very important. This is your antenna, power, accessory, ground. Then we have all our RCAs hooked up, blue white to blue white. Then we have all our wiring here. So here there's nothing really special, you're just color matching. I left my reverse pigtail out, and then the only thing that's tricky here is this has a steering wheel control wire. So steering wheel control 1 goes to the gray wire from here, and then the gray black wire from here goes to ground, and that'll get your steering wheel controls working. Then you see these 3 extra wires. This is before my illumination. I have to tap illumination because this is in an auto dimming radio, and the illumination wire is not in this harness for the MDX. Then I have a red wire. I'll show you that later on. That's so that I can enable the screen, the factory navigation screen, to show what I want. So I got my wiring ready. I'm gonna test the radio in my car, make sure everything works, and then I'm gonna get started with the DVD drive to make the modifications that I need to there. I got my radio set up. Here's my volume knob. See? So we have full volume control. I just finished programming the steering wheel controls. So now I'm done. Is there a, okay, unlearn. Then I go home. Now I can use this. And this is what I was saying. You want to leave the radio at 20 and then use this. And it's going to get plenty loud. So now I'm actually going to mount everything in place. Here's our interface working. You see that flashing light? That means we're all good. I'm going to mount everything in place, and then I'll show you the navigation drive, what we got to do. For the camera, it's mounted on. Use the factory hole. We're going to tuck it so it's nice and clean and out of the way. Then here you can see we routed it properly this time, so we're hooked up to the reverse light, coming down in there, down in there, down, and then we're already all the way to the other side. So I'll show you once the camera's behind. The other thing I want to show you is what I did down here. So if you haven't seen our TSX video, there's a harness that we sell that lets you add a new camera to the factory navigation, or add a camera to your factory navigation if it didn't come with one. So that's that harness. That's going to allow us to send video into the navigation system. So we disconnected the factory. Then the other thing we had to do was here, this black plug right here has a brown wire. We cut it. We added our red wire there. That's the wire that energizes the navigation system to go into reverse. So now we can trick it to go into reverse anytime we send power down this red wire. This is going to go behind our radio. This is going to be the video out, and then the accessory behind a switch that will turn this on and off when we want. So here is our rough test. So I'm making all my connections. I made the primary ones, speakers, power, antenna. Now I have to make my secondary ones, which are going to include the custom things that we decided to add. The only thing I want to do is make sure I leave these out, because these are for the climate control. So I'm gonna tilt that forward, slide this up a little bit. Let's just start massaging my wires in there. Plug in my climate control. Something I have to show you real quick is the illumination wire. So the illumination wire is this blue, light blue right there. Here, let me get to it. Right here. So this long orange wire from before needs to go to that wire. That's what we're going to do. We're going to zip tie it, we're going to tape it, and that will take care of our illumination. Alright, so we wire tapped our wire. We're just going to plug this back in, and then we got to give everything a good final test and walkthrough. So let me just get this. Alright YouTube, so here it is, moment of truth. We got to power it on, make sure everything works the way we expect it to. So there we go. Let me just turn that off. But there you can see it's up there. It's down here too. The color is a little bit different up there. You can't really see it that well from here. Let's go to the radio. Come on. Let's 6.1. Let's turn our volume up. Now we're just putting our trim back in. So remember, this piece goes here at the bottom. That. Then we put this piece in. So this piece goes right here. Just want to be careful. Putting it back in. There you go. I'm going to slide this back into where it was. Okay. And then, make sure that one's been good, you know. And then we're going to put this piece back on. Start down here. Put that back in all the way. There you go. Just nice and clip on. We're going to secure. Now we're going to secure our screw. Move it over a little bit. Okay. So secure. We're going to put this back. Okay. Now we're just going to finish wrapping this trim piece back around. This screen is fully adjustable, so if it's too low right now, like it's covering some of the buttons, so what I'm going to do in a second is you tilt it forward, pull these, and you can slide it down, and that puts it at the perfect angle. So now guys, the last thing I have to do is mount this camera, and then I'll give you a total view of how everything works. Alright, so here's our final product. I have torque loaded up. We have an OBD2. I'm going to show you my backup camera real quick. So BAM HD backup camera. I'm going to show you the front camera or the DVR. So there's an app in here for DVR. That's going to be our front camera. You can see whatever shows up on this screen shows up there. So if I want to launch an app, if I want to launch YouTube, whatever, the radio, Spotify, Apple CarPlay, it would show up on both screens. I'm just going to throw the radio on real quick. So here's the radio. Here's my volume knob for from our amp interface. System gets nice and loud. Our steering wheel controls work. Volume up, volume down, previous, next. So if you're looking to do this to your car, you're going to need that amp integration. It's the ELS amp integration module. Have it available on our website. I recommend just picking up a complete kit because it's going to make everything so much simpler, plug and play. Try and think if there's anything I'm missing in the car. Microphone's up there. We did the backup camera, USB. This is the switch that gets you in and out of the display. yeah, I'm not too sure if I'm forgetting something. If I am, I'll edit it back in the video. Make sure you stay subscribed, or you subscribe, because we're working on our MDX next. We're going to cover this installation again, but in thorough detail, so you can do it yourself. This was just a product announcement slash, hey, this is how you can do this in your MDX. Something I didn't show you in the video, but it does work, is the illumination control. So the illumination control was working. We wiretapped it. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff I'm forgetting, so if you have a question, leave it down in the comments. I'm gonna just quickly explain to you about other MDXs and other Acuras and how it works, and then give you a breakdown of what this is, because I'm sure you saw it in the video. What if I don't have a 2007 or 2008 or 2009 MDX? Mine's a 10, mine's an 11, mine's a 12, mine's 13. You can still do this. Our amp integration will still work. I recommend letting us make you a complete kit for whatever radio you decide. It will make it the easiest, and it'll be plug and play. We can make one for your car. You will have to remember, you will lose the navigation. You can do what we did, but you would have to trim wires or mess with wires behind the factory display. But it is possible to do what we did in that car as well. Just know the wiring and the connections are different. You will lose all functionality of navigation. You will lose all functionality of your rear entertainment. So if you're not wanting to lose those, then I don't recommend replacing the radio. But as you can see, you can now retain all your speakers. You use the amp interface. It powers the factory amp. All your speakers work. Your subwoofer, your center channel, your satellite, your door speakers, everything, your tweeters will continue working. If you're watching this video, you don't have an MDX, but you have a TL, you have a TSX. The TSX 09 has a navigation drive, so this can apply almost directly to it. The TL doesn't have a navigation drive. It's all hard drive based, one unit in the center. We haven't had a chance to work with those cars yet, so I can't say exactly what will happen to the navigation, but I can tell you that they share the same amplifier. The 09 to 13 MDX, TL, TSX, and the RDX, the smaller MDX, all share the same amplifier. So you can use our amplifier interface to change the radio and keep the factory amplifier working unlike you could before. Also, if you have factory navigation and you want to keep it, this is kind of what you will have to do. You'll have to transfer this knob and mount it onto your new dash kit, because this control mechanism is called a joystick. It still works. One last thing, if you could do me a favor, share the video, tell someone about it, like the video, subscribe. It helps a lot. Helps us get the product in front of the people that need it. It helps us learn more so we can help you better, and it helps the channel grow. So if you could please just share it, like, subscribe, I'd really appreciate that.